Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. How you doing, people who've tuned in today on this fine Tuesday, folks? I'm here in the studio. I'm in the chair, and it's nice to be here. I gotta say, it's nice to be here. I have internet issues basically on my computer, and audio stuff, but I thought, well, I got a whole studio. Let me just jump into the studio and do it from here. And I got to say, it feels nice. Feels nice being in the chair. What's up, Carver, Terry, everybody, Flat Earth Victory, American Native, Christopher, Pincho. What's up, Pincho? Name I've never seen. Damon, welcome, everybody. Chris, yes, American Anchor Baby. And I'm sitting in the chair. I got to say, I like it. It feels good to be in the chair. Hey. I got a little bit of a show for you. I know that we were together last night. We were together last night, and it was all business. It was pure business, though, so don't get any ideas. We were watching a little bit of the DNC together, no? Democratic National Convention. We saw a little bit together, and I showed you a couple of scenes of how they were supporting the police and law enforcement. And other things, you know, I ended up being able to catch some of I was able to catch another interesting moment that I want to bring up to all of you today. We're going to get into it here. A little bit of union talk. You may have even heard the moment mentioned on the Hake Report, but I got to say, I got something to look. The Anchor Baby is watching this. And I'm pulling on threads, I'm learning, and I'm like, wow, when you ask simple questions, you can find the truth about unions and really about the human heart. See, it's more than politics. I know some people don't like the politicking, but hey, this is what's interesting to me right now. So I want to show you a little bit of that, and as we move on, I want to get into lies. I'll leave it at that. Lies. Don't join the Podcasters Union, but who's going to watch out for me? Hey, appreciate everybody here, though. 888-775-3773. Because I'm in the chair. I'm in the studio. That means you got to call that number if you want to talk to the Anchor Baby. 888-775-3773 feels great. But what else? Appreciate you tuning in. We were watching the DNC together last night, and I basically want to jump into the topic, okay? Because it's when you have eyes to see. When you have eyes to see, you watch the politicking with a little bit of a different spirit, okay? No, I'm saying, Kevin, I'm saying people are telling me not to join the Podcasters Union. Kevin, I'm saying who's going to watch out for me, though? I got to join the Podcasters Union. Hey. But look, looking beyond the politicking is what I was saying, into human nature. You might find it interesting. Unions. Hey, what's up, Brian, Frederick, John, Santino, Doom Jesus. It'll grow back probably. Whatever, Maine. Looking clean. I'm just glad to be in the chair. I'm glad to be in the chair with cleaned up sides of my head. OMG, hate, blame, and victimhood is always the topic. Thank you, Frederick, for being here. And you know it is. It's the only thing that's important. And of course, maybe other things. Maybe, right? Like, I don't know, like economics or war or stuff. But even all of that, there's something deeper behind it. Because who's waging war? People. Who's running the government? It's people. And it's not even ideas. You know, like I saw here's what I mean by that. I just saw someone the other day, either on X or something, saying something about it's not people. It's not people that's the problem. It's ideas. And look, I'm not trying to get too deep into that statement. Let's not try and get too deep into that. Maybe it's a clear, easy statement. But I can't help but like react to it, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, it is people. It is people. It's who's running stuff, who's in the police, who's your neighbor, who is, you know, because it's people who have beliefs. It's people who believe lies or otherwise, and anyways, okay. And it's people. You know, when you think about the government, when you think about organizations, it's people. When you think about how, you know, it's so amazing. What did Jesse say? He said something about power. That was quite interesting. We've heard it a million times. These people in the government. You've heard the anchor baby going off, ranting and raving. They say he's ranting and raving about how the people running stuff want power and wealth. And for themselves, they don't care about the American people, the people that elected them, etc. But Jesse's like, you're like that in your individual lives. Like, duh, right? But it's so true. You want power. Like when you're talking with let's say you're talking with someone, and let's say you get offended, or something like that. And so you put on a mad face or a sad face, and you get someone to react. Like, are you okay? Boom, you got them. They're like, hey, are you okay? No, or whatever you do. And that's power. That's a power grab. And that's also a temptation that happens within. It's a total power grab, and it's a temptation that happens within. And you have this moment presented before you, this person who's like, are you okay? And right there, you could be like, yeah, no, I'm fine. No, I'm sorry. If I had a face, I'm sorry. Just let's move on. Or you're like, yeah, something's wrong, and you control them. You take power. You get power. You see what I'm saying? Power. It's just such an interesting thing. And that's how the government is. The people, okay? So anyways, y'all were with me last night watching the DNC, and they're united. And they're got an interesting they have like an interesting messaging. What I'm saying by that is that, well, their messaging is what? A couple of things. But mainly trying to describe the difference between Kamala and Trump. One is for the workers, one isn't. One is for the people, one isn't. One is for corporate greed. So that was really big. Corporate greed. We're for the working people. These people aren't. And I got to say, that's not, you know what I didn't see much of? Let me back that up. It was there, but it just wasn't so, I guess, militant, in your face. And what I'm talking about is the anti-America, LGBT, the black and brown. And even though there was this woman who went up there on the stage talking about, we need to make our workforce less white. I believe she said less white. She may have said browner or blacker, but that means less white, which is amazing. That being said, it wasn't as back-to-back woke, I guess. It was really kind of moderate, kind of like, hey, we're for the working class. You know, leftist crap and really lies coming from the biggest liars, the government. But besides that, really not, we need to radically change the government. Equity, not everybody starts at the same place. You didn't hear a single thing about that, honestly. Equity, we don't start at the same place, blah, blah, blah. We got to use the government to change it all up and blah, blah, blah. So just things I noticed. They got to build up to the main event on full-on communism on the last day. Yeah, you know, that's one way. Well, I guess we'll see, right? It's just kind of what I noticed on that one day. And I didn't stay with you the whole night of the DNC. It went on and on, right? I mean, I had to get up for the JLP show and all that. And but I ended up catching a little bit. And there was this one guy named Shawn Fain. He is the United Auto Workers president, a union, okay, that represents a whole bunch of auto workers from a whole bunch of in the auto industry in America, okay? A lot of different factories are unionized across the country under UAW. And so this guy, this president of the UAW, gets up there to talk about why Kamala is with the working class and the working people. And here I am, the president of the Working People's Union for automobiles. And I'm here to tell you this is true. Kamala's the best, blah, blah, blah. And Trump is not. Anyways. You may have even heard this guy kind of mention on the Hake Report and fascinating episode on union stuff. It was on my mind too because I'm watching him and I'm watching it. I'm thinking, okay, Anchor Baby's uneducated on a number of things here. I've been here before. I could do the work. But that being said, I'm watching this and I'm like, despite being uneducated on certain things, there's some obvious markers of ego, unreality, evil, whatever, lies, and signs of what is motivating the so-called working class, at least the working class here supporting the UAW and this whole Kamala Waltz thing. We get a little look into what is motivating them. So I want to kind of get into that here. The UAW president, Shawn Fain, at the DNC last night. Here's the first clip I have for you. Let us see here. Oh, I'm a little rusty in the chair. And we got the first clip for you here. Unions, Shawn Fain, United Auto Workers, and why they're amazing. At least why they say that if you're like a worker, you should vote for Kamala. Let's watch.
Good evening, America, and good evening to the people that make this world move, the working class. On behalf of 1 million active and retired members of the UAW, I am honored to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to be our next president and vice president. And I want to say thank you to Joe Biden for making history by walking the picket line with the UAW. For the UAW and for working class people everywhere, this election comes down to one question. Which side are you on?
What? Picking sides?
On one side, we have Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who have stood shoulder to shoulder with the working class. On the other side, we have Trump and Vance, two lapdogs for the billionaire class who only serve themselves. So for us in the labor movement, it's real simple. Kamala Harris is one of us, and Donald Trump is a scab.
What? Trump's a scab, they're saying. Trump's a scab. Look at this woman. Is this the working class? Look at her. Is this the working class? Maybe this is the working class. Oh, no, wait. Or maybe these guys are the working class. Maybe these guys are the working class. Hold on.
That's not.
Those guys look like the working class, right? Those are totally the working class, right? Just rough, standing all day like Kamala was saying. Who was saying that the other day? Maybe it was even at the DNC. Maybe it was even Biden. He was like, we got to stand with the workers because you guys are on your feet all day. The service workers, the food service people, cashier jobs, you guys are on your feet all day. That's them, right? These are the hard, rough workers, the working class. Or are these like university yuppies? Are these like university? Look, maybe you guys know better than I'm looking at them and just kind of reacting. Some people may have a better, they've been in America for many years and how you kind of just know different groups and people. Are we looking at the working class? Somebody help me out. Or am I looking at like university yuppies? And they're the ones yelling, Trump's a scab. Trump's a scab. Are we looking at the blue collar working class or what? Or am I totally wrong here? Am I just making stuff up? Right? Is this Chicago? These are the. We're not in DC. We're in Chicago here, but these are the. Anyways, some of the stuff that I was thinking, but as you saw, the UAW president there made his case, kind of opening it up there. Let's finish this clip. Hold on.
That's not just good.
Okay. So yeah, opening it up there, trying to make this differentiation between the two. We're with the workers. You're not. Get out of here. And he says, on behalf of the whatever million people in the union that support Kamala, it's like, hold up. Isn't the whole union thing a little funny? Like union dues. I bet you could go on a stage and say, yeah, I got like 1.5 million people who support what I support. Because, they're members. Or they're, they're under the union. But not everybody is like a supporter, right? A whole bunch of workers are people who simply work at a unionized factory and they're not full members, but they still have to pay union dues. And then all their money goes to the Democrats that they didn't vote for. Like, think about that. It's funny to think about that because these are the people fighting for the working class, right? They're fighting for the workers, the little guy. But when you look at it like this, you realize, well, these unions operate more like a mafia. So it's already a little funny to me, right? Sean Fain, he tries to describe this difference between Trump and Kamala, and mainly that Kamala is for the worker. But he reveals who Kamala and Biden and the whole establishment, who they're really for. He reveals it. And but before we go there, a little more on what he's talking about. He's saying, Biden, they support the unions. But here's what he's talking about. Let's go back to 2023, where Joe Biden joined the UAW picket line. And literally they're in 2023, the United Auto Workers had a big old, strike, and they had their demands and all that. And Biden joined them, and he was picketing out there. And this is historic, right? It's the first time a president has done this, although countless senators. And this is politicians, one of the most common things, okay? And Biden reveals himself, he's been doing this, joining picket lines of strikes since 1973. I marched in a lot of UAW picket lines, he says. Look at them. I'm just showing you some scenes, but you can see on the back of there, these are the United Auto Workers, but also we have like communist fists on the back of our look, that even looks exactly like the Black Lives Matter one. Communist fists on the back of our uniforms. Power, they say. False power. And I see your calls coming in, by the way, 888-775-3773. I will get to you. But Biden joins this picket line back in 2023. That's what this guy is praising, and he's been doing it since 1973. But he says here, I tell you what, it's the first time I've ever done it as a president. Folks, and this is Biden, folks, look, one thing is real simple, he said. I'm going to be very brief. The fact of the matter is that you guys, the UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. You made a lot of sacrifices. You gave up a lot. And the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too. It's a simple proposition. Folks, stick with it because you deserve the significant raise you need and other benefits. Let's get back what we lost, okay? What we lost, Biden? A lot of we talk. But hey, he was there to support the UAW and all that and their strike. And it's funny the language they use. They're striking for a better life. But okay. But Nick, someone's got to fight for their rights, right? Corporate greed, right? Let me finish this up. This moment in 2023 that Sean, the president of UAW, is praising. He takes the stage after Biden here, and he says himself, today, 80 years later, this is back in 2023, we find ourselves here again with the arsenal of democracy. It's a different kind of arsenal of democracy, and it's a different kind of war we're fighting, Sean says. Isn't that funny? Forever wars, basically. The wars don't stop, abroad or at home. Keep them going. Too lucrative. Forever wars. They must continue. We must continue fighting for the rights of... No, they still have not been fulfilled. There's still so much to be done. A lot of work to be done. It's got to keep going. And so the work continues and the war continues and the money's got to keep coming in and all that, right? Forever wars. They won't stop. All good, Bill? Huh? Is everything all right? Everything's good in here. But now there. No. But yeah, it's all good. Forever wars, isn't that funny? But he's there. What Biden's mentioning there back in 2023, the industry back in 2008 and who saved it and all that. He's talking about the 2008 financial crisis, the housing market and all that. I'm sure you know some of that. I know a little bit, and I don't need to necessarily rehash it here, but tell me, you guys can tell me where I'm wrong. You can call me 888-775-3773, but wasn't the lesson from 2008 that the lesson was that you got to let things fail or you get worse issues down the line, and what caused the failure in 2008 was lofty ambitions and nothing to hold it up, lies, right? And then there were no consequences, right? Instead of letting things fail and letting life kind of reset things and guide things, the government stepped in and saved a bunch of industries, if you remember. And so there was really no learning. And one of these industries that was saved was the automobile industry. And one of these, and what happened is with the UAW, this union, working with, I believe the government, they made a number of concessions saying, hey, all right, things are tough in the industry right now, and all the things that you guys got to do for the union workers it's gonna put too much strain. It's just not gonna work. So we'll make a number of concessions. New workers that join the union are going to get paid way less. They got to work up. And benefits, overtime, yeah, we're going to X that. And some other things. And so that's what Biden was talking about. But I can't help but wonder, inflation, economic troubles. Isn't that happening to everybody? But only these union people deserve protection? I mean, the economic issues aren't entirely on corporate greed, right? Something's not making sense. And so this is kind of what the anchor baby was doing. And what were their demands in 2023? So here it is. The hardline stance taken by the newly elected UAW president Shawn Fain contributed to the UAW's decision to strike. In particular, he criticized stagnant wages that do not account for inflation, the restoration of overtime and retirement benefits, and the institution, get this, the institution of a 4-day work week. Well, hold on. What is the justification for that? Pay us more. We're just overworked. Pay us more, but also make us work less. It's just, you look into this and you end up learning that the weekend, and you may have heard this earlier today, the weekend itself was not always the way it was. We didn't always have 2 days off and the weekend and all that. It was just one. The Sabbath, or whatever, Sunday. And it's just an interesting thing because back then the justification is like, well, we need more free time with our families and you can't be making people work like this and blah, blah, blah. Boom, we got the people, the workers got what they wanted, the weekend. So now what's how do you justify that today? Let's say you didn't have the weekend. And it's like, well, no, we need the weekend. What could even, now that chapter is closed, how do you really justify we need more weekend? It's like other things that have progressed, you know? Oh, abortion, it's safe, it's legal, it's rare. I mean, you got to have safe, legal ones, right? Fast forward to, no, more abortions, just more. It's just got to be more. Why? I don't know, women. Oh, you got to have time off, right? Let's all agree we need some more time off. This is crazy. You can't be overworking people. The Industrial Revolution happened, and look at the conditions. And then fast forward, hostage situation. Give us more weekend or we won't work. Give us more weekend now. Like, how someone help me understand the justification and how that's not I would prefer 4-day work weeks, 10 hours a day. So you work longer but less days? Okay, whatever. Maybe it could be talked about, but I can't help but notice the knee-jerk, I bet you the knee-jerk reaction of even these union people who see that and go like, yeah, we do need a 3-day work. We do need a longer weekend. It's like, wow, like, is this just coming from pure emotion? Like, yeah, we do work too much. Aren't we the most pampered ever with the most stuff and the most stuff and amenities and decadence than ever? But anyways, I'm about to get to calls. Don't go anywhere. 888-775-3773. But real quick, let me just finish this up. I got 2 clips for you. Then we go, to calls. Real quick on weekends. In 1908, this is from Wikipedia. In 1908, the first 5-day work week in the United States was instituted by a New England cotton mill so that Jewish workers would not have to work on the Sabbath from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. Well, right on. Thanks, Jews. See, it wasn't all the Jews, right? Wasn't Henry Ford, too, was into the weekend idea, thinking, people would work better with the time off, and on their time off would spend their money and grow the economy. So it's not just the Jews. Always the Jews. Someone in my chat. No, Henry Ford said it too, and I heard Henry Ford was critical of these folks. But But anyways, look, Sean Fain. Let me get into this. Sean Fain. Let me just finish this up with Sean Fain at the Democratic National Convention. Let's do this quick and then get to calls. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom.
When Donald Trump was president, corporate America ran wild. Donald Trump did not bring back the auto industry. When Donald Trump was president, auto plants closed. Trump did nothing. Trump told workers in Lordstown, Ohio, that he would be bringing all the auto jobs back. And Trump did nothing. In 2019, General Motor workers went on strike for 40 days for good jobs and a better life. And Trump did nothing. Talk is cheap. In the words of the great American poet, Nellie, it's getting hot in here.
Oh, gosh. Oh, God, come on. Great American poet, Nellie. Look at the thunderous applause after that one. Trump's on scab. Yeah, Nelly, it's getting hot in here. Woo! I am getting so hot. Yeah, I love that song. But he got way more cheers than anything else. This is what killed it. It's like, bro is killing it right now. Yeah, we love Nelly. Remember when he had the like Band-Aid on his cheek? Dude, I love that guy. I am getting so right, like sex, right? Clubs, dude. I freaking love this guy. I'm voting Democrat. I freaking love this guy, man. Yeah, Nelly. Great American poet. I concur. I absolutely concur. I call these people. I call these great Americans. I call them poets as well. Some of you guys. You know, I was showing you modern music the other day. Some of you were like, Nick, this music confuses and scares me and it has no talent. But I don't know how you guys don't see the creativity and the eloquence that some of these modern poets use to portray, you know, it's horrible topics, but it's real, you know. They're going through the drugs and murdering their fellow man, murdering and harming their fellow man, but they're just so creative in the way they say it. So anyways, he made a little joke there, but look, on display, I can't help but start to notice now this like air of superiority, like these union workers are better than the rest of workers. Let me explain my vibe here. He's like, Trump did nothing. When this happened, he did nothing. It's like, so it's just gimme. What? If we fail, it's not our fault, it's his fault. And if we're doing great, we did it, the workers did it, and not the leaders, not them. It's just like, where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? And he goes on saying, when they close down plants, when they close down automobile plants, Trump did nothing. Are you talking about General Motors during his presidency? If you remember, Trump was quite vocal about that, saying he's basically General Motors was going through some tough times or whatever and closed down like 5 factories. And they were saying it's because of financials and stuff. You know, something was happening during the time, no? That was kind of tough on everybody. And Trump was like, he was telling them, General Motors, we're going to like basically don't do that. We're going to fix the economy. We're working hard. You guys keep open. And if you don't, he threatened to take away subsidies, to cut subsidies for the company. So don't tell me he did nothing. Okay, talk is cheap. Well, what was Trump supposed to do? Go in and take the means of production, you little communist? Trump is a normal guy. He's a man of peace. As much as people say, oh, he's so radical. He's radical because of what he stood up against, the true radicals, the establishment who hates us. But the policies, the nitty gritties, he's a man of peace. He's not going to go in there and be a communist with GM. But, you know, he cares about the workers. He's like, don't do it. Anyways, what more is he supposed to do? And, you know, these people are like supposed to be for the working class, but I see special interests. I see government. I see a bunch of workers, quote unquote, who think they're better than other workers. This guy blames Trump for these economic issues and corporate greed. That's way, way bigger than corporate greed. It's a deep government corruption, and these unions are part of it. Let me move on quick. Let me move faster. About to get to calls. Appreciate the patience. Let's do this.
It's hot in here because you're fired up and you're fed up, and the American working class is fired up and fed up. The American working class is in a fight for our lives. And if you don't believe me, just last night, blue-collar workers, the UAW members at Cornell University had to walk out on strike for a better life because they're fighting corporate greed. And our only hope is to attack corporate greed head on. Corporate greed turns blue-collar blood, sweat, and tears into Wall Street stock buybacks and CEO jackpots. It causes inflation. It hurts workers. It hurts consumers, and it hurts America. And when the UAW stands up, we know who stands with us and who stands against us.
Listen, he's about to reveal who Kamala and these people really stand for. He's going to say it in plain English.
Donald Trump laughs about firing workers who go on strike. And Kamala Harris stands shoulder to shoulder with workers when they're on strike. And that's the difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump the scab.
Donald Trump the scab. And he's having his moment. He's having his big old moment. And he's telling the people, you're fired up. You're fired up and stupid. Okay? And you're fired up, and people are directing your fire, your anger, right where this guy wants it. Right where this guy wants it, to corporate greed. Prove it, dude. How about prove it? Prove it. It's corporate greed, and he's directing you to the corporate greed. So nobody else is causing inflation. Nobody else. We're about to get into the narrative here, but this UAW president says, just last night, people were fighting for a better life. So literally the night before, there's still forever wars, more forever wars. Keep striking. And he's talking about Cornell University and so I look into it. And so the janitors, the cooks, a bunch of these workers at Cornell University striking for better pay and all that. And it's like, look, I couldn't help but look up Cornell University janitor job. And I'm like, let me see how much these people get paid. You know, they say living wage. They say it's a living wage and all that. And where was it? They had a big old list of job openings for janitors and cooks. And they were like 20, 21, 23, 24, $25 an hour. What, like 40,000 plus 45,000 a year? I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm not saying it's good. But it's not like bad. I mean, you're a janitor. You're a cook. You need a living wage. I mean, you know, I'm not being obtuse to the fact that maybe there is corporate greed. And maybe at one time unions had this place. But I can't help but react to what's going on now. And you got these people saying it causes inflation. Donald Trump and these corporate greed, inflation. This is what gets me. These unions think they're better. Like as if inflation is the only thing happening to them. You know, I heard government causes inflation. And I tend to believe that. Listen, I heard that from Elon Musk. Government spending causes it. And think about it. Just think about it. To say that only corporate spending and greed is causing inflation is to ignore the massive amount of money that the government spends. It's ridiculous how much they throw away. Remember, 2/3 of government spending is like programs, like BS programs, like welfare and stuff. And just think about this. How does spending cause inflation? Well, you're injecting money that wasn't there before into the economy by way of stuff. Could be buildings, bridges, whatever. It's just more money. So now people have more, so they spend more, so prices go up. You're inflated. Corporate greed, and they say it's just corporate greed, ignoring the government. And if you remember, the narrative during COVID was that, the supply issues is what caused inflation. You know, the whole supply chain was messed up. You couldn't send stuff around. Everything was locked up, and so everything got more expensive. And then what was the narrative? The narrative then was, it's not just that, the supply chain, but it's corporate greed. All these companies are just throwing up their prices because they can. And that's the narrative, but who are the only ones allowed to create money? The government. The government. And it's pretty much a pretty much known thing at this point that narrative is just false. It's federal spending, the massive federal spending, for the cause of inflation. It's a pretty much known thing. You ask, you go on MIT, pretty much, you know, the smart people, and these aren't right wingers, these are leftists and all that. And they're like, yeah, no, federal spending was what caused all that inflation. It's what injected all this free money. It's what gave a bunch of people, remember, they gave us stimulus checks. And what did we do with them? We put it into Bitcoin and stocks and we started gambling. Like, you know what I'm talking about, folks? So that's the narrative. But who are the ones creating the money? The government, right? Asterisk, right? Because the Federal Reserve is sort of government. I know it's federal's in the name, but so again, why do these people think they're better? Like they know who caused inflation, yet they are helping the real culprits and protecting them at the same time. And then sitting there like victims, like Trump did nothing and we're not getting money and we're not getting anything. Yeah, a lot of people aren't getting money. A lot of people are doing worse. They don't have a union behind them. I know a lot of cooks and janitors and stuff who are making a lot less than $20. I know a whole bunch of cooks and janitors and a bunch of stuff that are making a lot less than $20 at Cornell University. You understand what I'm saying here? All right, last clip and we get to calls. Try to move a little fast. Apologies if I'm talking all fast and all that. But look, check it out. Last clip.
Trump is pushing
before I show you this clip, did you catch who they really stood for? Who Kamala and this president of the UAW really stands for? He reveals it. He says it in plain English. He says, Kamala really stands with workers on strike, he says. And he repeats that. And you know who Trump doesn't stand for? The workers on strike. He laughs at them. He talks about firing them. But Kamala stands with protesters, angry people, blamers, victims. That's who they stand for. Not the working class, working people. No, people on strike specifically. And he made that clear. He repeated that a few times that Kamala stands for people on strike. And Trump? No. He does not stand for people on strike. He had to make that clear. Let me play you this last clip and let's get to it.
Conquer tactics of the rich. It's the oldest trick in the book. They want to blame the frustrations of working class people. They want to take those frustrations, they want to blame it on race. They want to blame it on LGBTQ plus people. They want to blame it on some destitute and desperate person at the border. They do that because they want working class people to be divided and to focus and keep the focus off the one true enemy, corporate greed.
The one true enemy. And I just had to play that last one because he tries to bring it all home there and express how they're trying to divide us. They're trying to make us hate each other, race, and all this. Isn't that the richest? That's so rich. Accuse the others of what you're doing. Did you watch the RNC? Did you watch the RNC? Their RNC was way more woke than the DNC. The DNC had American flags everywhere. They had AOC up there talking about Trump is not a patriot. We love this country. Remember, a couple of years ago, AOC was saying that America was never good. Racism, blah, blah, blah. So now they've kind of cleaned up their act here a little bit. But all this to say also is that I just kind of want to show you how the true evil is really still on display. Anger, hate, blame, and victimhood. And that is as evil as you can get. Even if they dress it up all nice and they're like, we're fighting for the worker. No, you are standing side by side with just angry people. Meanwhile, the rest of America just continues their life. They got to work every day. They're not really thinking, we're pawns in our own way. But look, are you following me a little bit? Look, anger, hate, blame, and victimhood on display. They call it all this fancy stuff. We're working class. We're working with the working class, and then accuse others of what they're doing. It's truly on display. They've pivoted a little bit. I think their strategy, it shouldn't be ignored from the Republicans. That being said, this is how evil operates. They hide. Okay, the mask. I'm rambling now. What else about this? Divide and conquer. Isn't that funny? I got calls. About to get to you. Let's wrap this up. Tesla. And then back-to-back calls. All this talk about unions. All this talk about who is to blame. Trump hates workers. Look at how bad the auto industry is. And Trump did nothing. Remember? And then something came to mind. Wait, hold up. Not the whole auto industry was doing badly. In fact, wasn't there one company who was doing amazing despite the auto industry doing badly? And then I looked it up and it's true. Tesla. And this is just one article. Look, how Tesla outsmarted the chip shortage. You know, this is just one example of what I'm trying to describe, but essentially, Tesla significantly outperformed much of the automobile industry, particularly during periods when other automakers face significant challenges. And this is just one of those ways. It's funny to see this headline. It's like outsmarting Elon Musk, outsmarting and doing creative, innovative things in an industry to stay ahead and stay relevant. Wow. But I thought oppressive corporate greed demons were oppressing the businesses and holding businesses down. You telling me ingenuity you were able to make a move using ingenuity in a monopolized market, in a practically monopolized market? Wow. And meanwhile, the rest who didn't stagnated? Wow. No, it can't be. It's corporate greed. It's an interesting thing to also look into Tesla and unions. You know, Elon Musk is not down with the unions. There's been a whole bunch of unionization attempts on Tesla factories all around the world. And Elon Musk has had a whole bunch of negative attention over that. This guy hates the worker. He doesn't want to unionize. No, he wants things to work. And I think this is proof that Tesla's doing well despite whatever mess. And this is from Wikipedia. And this is zeroing in on the Swedish campaign. Apparently, the Swedes are striking right now and Tesla's factories. And it says here, how the Swedish campaign expanded to other Nordic countries. The other Nordic countries saw this and were like, let's join in. Let's strike over in our countries too. And so what does the Tesla over there do? Tesla posts a job opening for a Swedish government affairs specialist with significant experience with Nordic legislation, presumably to help with lobbying efforts. I wanted to point this out because I find this a little interesting about business and how here's Tesla doing just business, but I can totally see in the future how the media would criticize Elon Musk and be like, this guy tried to lobby. He's another one of these lobbyists. He's just doing like business. He's just a nasty lobbyer person. And it's like how the media and the government criticizes Trump. He's a shisty person. And you know how he handled his companies? He tries to evade taxes and stuff, like as if not every big business owner is doing that. And the government does it themselves. Just wanted to point that out. And then finally here, the one true evil. He says the one true evil, corporate greed. The one true evil is anger, the spirit of Satan, which always blames and accuses. It never looks at self. It stretches reality. It twists language. Notice how none of these people can just say things matter-of-factly. You got to use weird words to stretch reality. It calls evil things good and good things evil. Blaming is good. It's everything somebody else's fault. It's sneaky. It uses emotion to get you to agree with wrong. And, you know, finally you might think, Nick, but they made unions to protect people, right? Unions were good and they have a good motivation. Maybe, but all I got to do is look at it now. All I do is got to look at it now. Unions are a little club. They think they're better than other workers, as if other workers aren't going through the same economic woes. But they want to exacerbate these economic woes for their self-gain. When the inflation is not Trump or corporate greed, it's literally the very government you're working with. And then last thing here on this, on the government's job and relating it to ourselves. Notice how you can't be good. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed you can't be good and bring and do good in the world? The only thing you can do, and I'm saying this with an asterisk, but the only thing you can do, quote unquote, is overcome evil. You can't like be good. You have to overcome evil. You can't get love and be loving. You have to overcome hate. Because when there's no hate, when you're devoid of it, love can grow. Evil grows. Good can only grow if evil is not there to choke it out. You know what I mean? We can't grow good, but we can uproot the weeds and let good grow. And you can take what I'm saying there for economics, what the government should do, but also what you should do in your individual life. So you got to just get out of the way, let good grow. That's how Trump is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Blah, blah, blah. 888-775-3773. I have a caller here. And I don't know your name because I'm flying solo, so I don't have any call screener. But your name and where are you calling from? Can you hear me, caller? Caller, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Is this Frederick?
Yeah, Frederick from LA.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
All right. Your phone coming in kind of. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not coming in
Do I
loud?
sound all right?
How about now? Test.
Yeah. We
That's
sound
better?
good. We sound good.
Welcome, sir. Appreciate you calling.
What you think about? So you got a complaint with the union?
More so, it's more so. I can't help but my spidey senses are tingling, and I see a whole bunch of hate, blame, and victimhood, as opposed to real people.
I mean, what's the difference between like the people as citizens getting together as a collaborate and voting for what they want? That's the same thing they're doing within the job.
What's wrong with that?
Majority rules. You're right.
What's wrong with that? Well, the people are dumb.
For wanting to better themselves, you think? Well, okay.
That's what they think. That's what they think.
Everybody's allowed to their own opinion.
Right, I agree. I agree. Even if it means coming together to be a union, even if this one guy Anchor Baby says they're wrong for it, but yeah, okay, they can come together and be useful idiots. Sure, you're allowed to do that.
Right, because we have laws that let them do that. So
right. You are totally allowed to be a useful idiot in a sense. Yeah, I get, sure.
But when Trump and Elon Musk went on Twitter and did their little conversation, right afterward, Sean Fang filed a lawsuit against them. You know that, right?
He did?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I really don't know much besides...
Trump
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I don't know much about him besides what I was just watching.
Yeah,
but
for
Sean
the way
Fang,
Elon Musk, for the way he's threatening his workers, how Trump congratulate him firing workers when they want to strike, and that's illegal. He's like, when you go in, they don't play no games.
Wait. Slow down for me. So he's suing who?
Elon Musk and Trump.
UAW files federal labor charges against Donald Trump and Elon Musk after threatening workers on X interview. What the?
Come on, you got to know what you talk about before you start cooking now. You're going to burn down the house. But
there's no point. You haven't made any point, though.
Listen.
You haven't made any point.
Super PACs. Super PACs get together.
This is just news I don't know about. What point have you made?
All right, but super PACs do the same thing like unions do, and they go and push for presidents and their own little and their ideas, and they're begging for something. They send lobbyists. And yes, Elon
and your point
Musk
is
to go overseas and look for lobbyists. That is ironic, I think. I don't think I'm just watching.
Wait, what's your point?
On. The irony in Elon Musk over there you were talking about in Swedish, looking for somebody on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
To be a lobbyist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they want to strike. Yeah, that's hilarious. Every country needs to
You've yet to make a point, Frederick, though.
Corporations making major
you brought up a number of things so far.
Corporations making major.
Wait, hold on, Frederick. Can you make a point? You said a number of things. You brought up this. Well, I mean, what, you get to talk the whole time, Frederick?
Can I make a point and then you start talking?
Well, but let me summarize for the people just how bad it is going for you so far and just how little of a point you made. If you'll allow me a moment, I want to summarize for the people because it can get confusing for the people. I mean, so far you brought up this lawsuit and you were like, there's a lawsuit, Nick. Did you know there's a lawsuit that exists? You've told us nothing about it and what the threat was. And you're like, yeah, you should know these things, Nick. Wait, hold on. I'm still explaining. You should know these things, Nick, before you start cooking. And then you moved on. And now you're talking about, you were like, it's just.
I'm talking about the same thing you were talking about.
I'm still summarizing.
I'm talking about the same thing.
I'm still summarizing. And then you said, also, isn't it funny what Elon Musk did with the lobby thing over there? Still no point. Go.
Yes, the strike and what he's talking about and what he's getting sued for. You can't just sue or lobby for people to stop striking. It don't work like that.
You can't sue
for that. You can't sue or lobby for people to stop striking in your company. If they come together and say we're going to strike, it's their right.
But hold on, who's suing and who's suing what lobby? You're saying you can't sue You can't sue
I'm
lobby?
No. He's trying to get a lobbyist because he can't just go over there and fire people like Trump's congratulating him on. He's threatening, like, if they strike, he's just going to get rid of them. That's the whole threat is the thing that he's getting sued for. The threat of firing people for striking.
But
Trump congratulated
so all
him
you're
on
telling me is that
energy.
this is another stupid lawsuit by stupid people. They're saying he's
You can call
threatening
it
people.
stupid.
He's
You can
allowed
call
to.
it stupid. How?
No, but
how
you're just telling me they're
intellectual is
using
calling it
lawfare. It's
stupid?
just more
That's not
lawfare
solving
that
nothing.
because who are these people to say you're threatening? I should read this before continuing with you here because it's like you still yet to explain anything here. But I can read this for the people here. CNN, United
That's
Auto
how
Work.
Trump is a scab. You got hurt over words, and he is telling you why they call him a scab.
What words hurt me? I don't understand.
I guess when
You're
Sean
confusing
Payton
me,
called
man. You
Trump
got
a
to slow
scab.
down.
When Trump was called a scab by Sean Payton, did that mess with you or something?
No, it's whatever.
It seemed like it affected some people where you want to focus on Sean Payton.
Well, then you must be talking about somebody else. I was quite clear. I'm just presenting the videos he said and responding to what he was saying.
Right.
The Trump is a scab. The Trump is a scab comment is like the least of it. I mean, you heard me talk about everything else, right?
No, everything that man was saying about when Trump said he was
right, but you just came at me with
so
you're just butthurt about
true.
Trump's a scab. Didn't you just hear me talk about everything else?
Yes, that's what I was saying. Everything that man was talking about Trump not helping them and bringing jobs back, he didn't do. Walking the line, Trump is not a big company man. This is the blue collar.
But he lied about that.
And elect the next president.
But he lied about that. You're talking about when he said that during Trump's presidency, automobile plants closed down? You're blaming Trump for that? But he literally lied about that. Trump was telling GM don't close down or we're going to cut subsidies.
You can't tell a company don't close down.
But you can
with regulations and laws.
So then what do you suggest? So then wait, hold on. How can you say that Trump did nothing and then when he said to the GM, I'm going to cut your subsidies if you're not careful, and now you're saying, well, you can't tell a company what to do. So then what do you want Trump to do then?
I ain't saying you can't tell them what to do. You got to help them if they failing like Obama did. He loaned them the money. He didn't bail them out. They paid him back and survived because the government had money. You understand what a bailout is? Like when we give money to Israel, we don't get that back.
Yeah, but that stuff doesn't make sense to me.
Ukraine, we don't get that back. Y'all don't have no problem with that, but when it comes to helping our own workers and it's a loan, y'all have a problem with that. That's why it's backwards with the Republicans. I don't get it.
You just throw things in. You like what is it that you like doing this 2-for-1 deal stuff where you wrap me in with somebody else? I don't know who you have in mind. You guys have no problem with this. You're talking to me right now. Frederick, why not ask me a question directly instead of going like, you guys, blah, 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 and wrapping it up. But whatever. You don't want to ask me a direct. You said something about bailouts, and you guys have no problem with that. And you said something. You know how you use 2-for-1 deal where you're talking to me, but you say you guys have no problem with this or that. You make a statement about what I believe. When I'm right here, you can ask me.
Okay. How do you?
I'll let you ask me that.
I'm asking you a question. How do you go to work and pull yourself up by your bootstraps by being on a job without asking for more? Go ahead, go.
You won't. Why aren't you asking for more? You've never gone to your boss and said, hey, give me a raise?
For more. You over here acting like asking for more is the problem.
What are you talking about? You've never gone to your boss and said, hey, I deserve a raise?
No, the union. You acting like one man speaking for a whole group of people. Saying, hey, I want a raise.
You're doing one of those false simplifications.
I'm asking you a question.
Oh, you're doing one of those weird false simplifications where you're saying, Nick, why are you mad about people who are just fighting for a better wage? That's not what's happening, Frederick. These are a bunch of liars who basically get angry people and directing them to enrich themselves. And they're lying about what's causing inflation. They're lying about who's the enemy. And they're working with the government who's causing the inflation. No, I do.
UAW took no negotiations for 20 years almost waiting on this deal. They got turned down, told them to wait on the next negotiation deal. Wait on the next one. And when this one came around, Trump still didn't have their back. It took Biden to walk the line with him because they done participated with the big corporation. They took pay cuts to keep working and took pay cuts again to keep working. And now this was the historic amount agreement in history, and they had to sign the deal. Thanks to Joe Biden.
Fine.
Trump was in office.
Yeah, that might be fine. I didn't say anything about that. No, I didn't say anything about that. I even made a point about that particular thing.
About that.
No, if you were listening, I actually made it a point to particularly point that out, how that actually, this 2008 thing where they wanted their benefits back, that actually make sense. So you weren't listening.
No, they passed on the benefits.
No, and still you're not listening. You weren't listening because when I got to that part, I made it a point to particularly point out how I'm not commenting on that because there may be a point there. Unions they may have been fighting about something that was worth it.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about something else. So you're not even listening. Americans. This is what I mean, Frederick. You're like, this is just a Republican. Let me talk to. It's like you don't even know who I am, and I take it personal, and I shouldn't.
Who you are. I know exactly who you are.
Are
you a capitalist?
Yes, maybe.
You're a capitalist.
I guess, sure.
Yeah, I guess.
I hate agreeing with people because they always mean other things. You're a capitalist, so you mean all this, this is this. Like, I don't know.
We know what capitalism means.
Isn't capitalism one step away from communism?
No, I'm independent, but I see where it's going.
Isn't capitalism a stepping stone to communism? Oh, I'm a Christian. I don't know what you are.
You say what about capitalism and communism?
I said, isn't capitalism isn't it a stepping stone to communism?
No,
anyway, sir.
It's a stepping stone to anarchy. Keep the wheels moving.
Nice. Call me again.
Keep an eye on that lawsuit because Elon might be in trouble.
All right. Call me again, Frederick. But that's just like lawfare. It's BS, you know. Isn't it interesting how he kept his stuff working while everybody else was fighting about unions and regulations? Like, someone was able to make it happen.
Hey.
Even though there's economic downturns,
from California. He got a bunch of tax cuts for going green Tesla to make it. He didn't do that by himself.
I heard about that.
Democratic laws, and he got in the state to get all the tax cuts he could to build Tesla. So he can run while he can now after the tax.
But other companies got that too, man.
Only if they was building green, not no other companies. No, they didn't, because Stellantis, Ford, and Chrysler came out of pocket. They know what it is.
So what point have you made so far, Frederick? You've spent 12 minutes not really making a point. You said things I never said, and
I'm saying these are American rights and infringe on. Don't infringe
you
on
clearly weren't listening because
steel workers, we got carpenters, we got labor unions, we got all kinds.
Yeah.
It ain't just
and a whole bunch of them are easily, and a whole bunch of those people are easily, they're like mad. They're like angry. They're angry people.
65% of the vote. You got to roll with them and get rolled over.
A whole bunch of those people you're talking about are angry people.
All right. Okay. I don't know them, but okay.
Yeah, well, think about it. They're part of a union. All right, take care, Frederick.
They're angry if they getting good money right now. They won their contract, so they're not angry. They loving their president. I don't see how they angry. You saying they angry, but they got what they wanted. If they lost it, I could see them being angry, but you're not making a good point saying they angry. Tell me how they're angry.
Because of what they're fighting for and who they're fighting behind and what's motivated them. Right. The angry people won. That doesn't stop them from being angry.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! What? Look at your life. Just because you get something doesn't stop you from being angry. Just because you get what you. Just because look at the blacks, they've gotten everything they wanted. That doesn't stop them from being angry. Like as if you didn't know that already, Frederick.
Okay.
Look at your own life. You get stuff and you get pleasure and you get whatever and you're still angry.
No, I don't think they.
You didn't know that.
They feel justified is not angry.
You didn't know that. You didn't know that angry people are never satisfied.
Oh my God! Angry people.
They want a 2-day weekend, then they want a 3-day weekend, then they want a 4-day weekend. You didn't know that?
Hey, if the companies can make it happen, why not? All you gotta do is hire more people.
Well, right. That's the company if they want to do it. Boy, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about these unions forcing it. And it's like, and the reason we don't have it is because corporate greed. The whole motivation is a mess. It's just angry people. Thank you, Frederick. Can you call me again?
It's about people showing companies a better way from the ground up. You know
well, then do it. If you're a company, then do it. Well, no, of course. If you're a company, make it happen. No, we're different and we do things different. It works. And our people are happy. They only work 4 days. Nice. But these people are out on a stage saying, we deserve this. You understand how that's different?
are the company. Without us, y'all don't move. So you want us to stop? We are the company. If y'all the company,
Wow.
make the money with us on strike.
So
if y'all are the company,
Frederick,
moving and making y'all billions with us in the street. If y'all the company, go ahead.
So you get to go to your employer and make demands?
They are the employers.
Do you have employees, Frederick? Didn't you tell me you have them or
the
something like that?
Employees are the employers, Nick.
Have you ever employed anybody, Frederick?
Oh, yeah. I had a couple employees.
And if that employee came up to you and started making demands, like, hey, I deserve a 3-day weekend, what would you say?
I got my production met, guess what? I ain't worried about it because I know the profit better be on my table.
No, but now you're adding to it. Now you're adding to it because you're saying, well, yeah, only if the profit's on my table. No. You're adding to it because to make the deal. Well, obviously, but let's keep that out of the way. If your employee, no. If your employee just came up to you and said, no, I want this, you're not gonna agree with me that that's a backwards relationship, and you would not take that.
If it don't affect my profit, you might.
See how you got to add to it? If it doesn't affect my profits, if da-da-da-da.
Yeah, because I ain't going to say, let you make me less money. That never happens.
Right, and why? And why?
Unions say...
But why? Why are you not going to let them make you less money? Why?
Why wouldn't I let them make me less money?
Yeah, you just said, I'm not just going to let them make me less money. It's got to all work out. The profit's got to be on my table. Well, why?
Because if you already
why, Frederick? I thought they were the company. I thought they were the company.
Let's just tell you, if you already made one goal, what would be the reason for less production? What would be the reason? How would less money
Repeat
come
that
in?
sentence?
That's like saying you'll let somebody steal from you. If you don't know where the less production is coming in, it's called thievery. Somebody stealing. And
So you didn't answer the question, folks.
Be stolen from? You don't never be stolen from.
Let the record show he did not answer the question. Frederick, can you call me again, sir?
Yeah, because you don't let people steal from you. I did answer the question. Get out of here.
Oh,
all right, Nick.
Okay.
Later.
So now it's
Later.
stealing. But the workers,
Yeah,
you mean the corporation is stealing from themselves?
Come on, Nick. They stealing from me if I'm already the man.
But who's the corporation? Them or you?
Quit trying to get a win.
Who's the company? Them or you?
You're not going to feed your ego today.
Who's the company? Them or you?
I got to go.
All right, take care. Caller, you're on the air. Your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, this is Mark, L.A.
How you doing, Mark? Thank you for calling me.
You're welcome. I didn't think you were ever going to get off with that guy.
I spent maybe too much there.
And
Sorry,
it
y'all.
was going nowhere. I mean, you guys wasted almost an hour. That man has a very low IQ.
That was 12 minutes. Just to be fair.
Way. No way.
Well, it became 13. It quickly became almost 14, but I have the timer right here.
No, almost an hour. I've been on this wait for a long time.
Well.
Normally, I don't complain, but when there's no substance in the issue, I mean, anyway.
Fair enough. Thank you, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got it. I wanted to talk about unions. I'm going to take a little different stand than normal. I support unions because I worked many jobs in my life, and I can tell you that the jobs that had unions, you got a better wage, you got better job protection, you usually had a pension, and if you worked for a non-union place, none of those things existed. Well, if you're lucky, you might get good pay, but not a lot of bennies, no pension, 401k doesn't count. And if it wasn't for the unions, white workers would have a heck of a time, because the minority workers, if they feel they're being discriminated against, they can go to the NAACP, or the Mexicans can go to La Raza, but the white man has no group to go to for his job rights on the job, except for the union. And of course, they don't do it on a racial basis, but the minorities get the protection of the union and their own private groups that intercede for them. So the union isn't all bad. And I never voted for what the union recommended for, like if they said, like I was voting for Reagan when I worked, and the unions hated Reagan, even though Reagan was the president of a union. And there is a lot of communist influence in the unions, and that's one of the reasons Reagan, I think in the 40s, became the Screen Actors Guild president to root out the communists. There were always communists around, when you would go to work passing out flyers because it was a union shop. And I guess they felt it was fertile ground for recruitment. But my view on unions is they're necessary. If we didn't have them, it would be hard for a white man to keep a job, or anybody really, but especially a white person, because if there were no unions, the minorities could still use their private groups to go to court to sue to get their jobs back. White man doesn't have that except the union. So that's my take.
Was it always like that?
Pardon me?
It was always like that?
Well, I don't know. I worked in the 70s and 80s and in the 90s, and I didn't, I don't know. I think the union did a lot of good for me. I mean, it built the middle class. Through the union, the middle class was created. The only beef that I have with the union is the communist support, like these clowns at this Democrat convention. That UAW guy was a clown.
Now, that UAW guy, would you say that's way different than the union you're talking about?
I was in the UAW. That was one of my unions.
But what he was saying, the subject matter that he was bringing up, is that like a totally different mentality than what you're thinking of, or what do you say about that?
Well, in this case, in the 21st century here in the auto industry, you have the electric car challenge, and they're trying to convert GM to, so that they can make electric cars. Years ago, they offered their employees a big payout to go out on retirement early before they closed the shop. And it's because of outsourcing. It's because of trade that the company, GM, suffered. They want to blame the union for the downfall, and there may be some truth to that. I know when I worked there, they couldn't fire anybody. I mean, it was almost impossible to get fired. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, though. You got bad bosses, and a man's got to make a living. He's got a family to feed. You fire him, and he's out in the cold. I mean, you have to consider all things.
I guess.
And that's my view on the union. I think the union does some good. They've created the weekend off, Saturday and Sunday. I heard Hake earlier today complaining about that, but I don't think Bond works on. Well, they do. You have your Sunday service, yeah, but that's going to church. I don't think Bond has. You guys don't work on Saturday, do you?
Sometimes, but I'm waiting for you to tell me. Look, I'm not. Look, there's a lot I don't know about all that, and like I even said earlier, like I don't know. There may have been some place for all this. Look, I'm saying that out of ignorance. That obviously there may be things I don't know where good things happen, but I'm kind of still waiting for you to tell me something good the union did. That they did stuff that they did stuff that people liked. So far, you're telling me stuff that like helped workers and they enjoyed. You're telling them they get benefits. You're telling me that they don't get fired. But I'm still waiting for you to hear.
Good, isn't it?
I don't know. I would. Is that necessarily good? I'm still waiting for you to tell me something good they did.
I mean, if you're the person on the chopping block, you want a union there, honestly. And I'm not a liberal, not a Democrat, and it was.
I'm not calling it bad, but let's say just blanket protect workers, even bad ones. You hear about all the time. You can't fire union workers, even if they're really bad. Like, how is that good? I'm not calling it bad, but I'm still waiting for a single good thing the union did, like a good thing.
Well,
I guess I'm thinking of good as in like truly good. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'll start over. Weekends off. I think we got 2 weeks of vacation. We got a pension, and we got better pay than our counterparts in the private sector. We made good money, and you asked for something good. Those are good things. The only negative is that the leadership, unfortunately, are Democrats, and in some cases, communists. And in that case, all you do is just ignore them when they tell you who to vote for. That's all. I mean, most guys in the union are going to go along with the endorsements. I never did. And a lot of those white working people, for example, voted for Reagan back in the 80s. And I'm positive many union members today are voting for Trump. That clown UAW guy, he speaks for himself. I don't think most UAW members are going to vote for Harris.
Don't you see my instinct on this too? Whatever I may not know about unions and all that, don't you agree with my instinct on this? Where I see this guy who just wants to rally up angry people and direct blame at the wrong place. Corporate greed. Isn't that a total sham? What are you saying?
Exactly. I completely agree. And Trump actually mentioned that guy and said he's a sellout to his own union members because if the EV cars come in, they're going to have Chinese companies here making the batteries, and they're not going to employ necessarily Americans. And they probably, I don't know if they would have a union or not. Probably not, but I don't know about that end of it. But I know it's not in the best interest of auto workers to vote for the Democrats, Harris. And I think that's where Trump mentioned a bloodbath. Remember the commies were saying, Trump wants a bloodbath.
Yeah.
He doesn't win.
He's talking about the economy, I think.
Even though, he was talking about the auto industry.
Yes.
If these clowns win, Harris and Walz, the auto industry is going to suffer big time because they're going to mandate EV cars. And, there's really nothing the union can do except to vote for Trump because he's not going to let that happen. Trump had I don't think Trump is necessarily anti-union. I voted for him twice, and I would again. I've always been a conservative, even when I was in the union. And
what were you about to say?
No, I was going to say you're a younger guy, so you got a long working life.
No, if you heard the earlier segment, I'm really not saying. I really was not. I try to leave that as a blank, like, are unions bad? Are unions good? I don't know. It seems like maybe unions today, and I think I'm showing it to you guys, they're directing the anger of people to the wrong place. It seems like the unions today, at least some of them, are a mess. And I hear what you're telling me.
The teachers' union is communist, complete communist. I forget the woman's name. I think it's Weingarten, Brandy Weingarten, admitted lesbian, and I guarantee she's a commie. But she kept the kids out of school when COVID hit for as long as she could, keeping the teachers on the payroll, robbing the taxpayers. Now, she's a bad union head, and that's a bad union.
Mark.
But then you've got the Teamsters, who are a little more conservative in their politics, and they're mostly like truck drivers and working class people, and they tend to be more conservative. So it depends.
Mark, how long you think these unions will? How long until these unions, make black workers or POC workers above the? We got to make the workforce browner. Someone was saying at that DNC, and I think she was with. I don't know who she was with, but she was up there on the stage saying we need to make the workforce browner. How long you think this? You're saying the unions protect the white man. How long you think that'll last? If that's true.
Well, no, I see what you're getting at. Their reasoning, I didn't see that, but I believe you, is that all these illegals across the border, if they get their amnesty and get hired, they'll be union workers.
Don't you think the unions are going to pick
membership?
Don't you think the unions are going to move on and pick their new? Don't you think the unions are going to move on from the labor force you're thinking of and be buddies with this new labor force who's happy with less and all that,
Well, I don't know. I think the government unions, public employees, those guys are funded by the state. They've got strong union protection. They don't have to worry about outsourcing because we're always going to need public employees. But the jobs like the car industry jobs, those can be outsourced. The government doesn't you can't outsource a bureaucrat. Maybe they'll figure out a way to do it.
So, unions. So far, I've learned. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be quick here. I'm sorry to cut you off, though, Mark. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I was just going to say the government unions today are the strongest unions. I think in the private sector, only about 10% of the workforce is unionized, where it used to be about almost 100%, like in the 50s, in the 60s, unions were strong. Our middle class was strong. America was strong. And they've always had a love-hate relationship with the minorities. You know, before the Mexican invasion here in this country, now I'm going to call it that because most of them are either the offspring of illegals or they're illegals themselves. For better or worse, that's the truth. And I think the unions, even Cesar Chavez, he didn't want to hire illegal aliens. And he was pretty, pro-Mexican and whatnot, but he knew this was not a good thing. But over the years, the union, you could say, has evolved on that. Now they look at these colored invaders as members and dues payers and voters. And that does not bode well for the American people, for the white America, at least for white America. And really, if the whole country falls.
Understood. Last thing, I want to get your thoughts on this. Would you say that the troubles in the industries, so to speak, let's say, for example, the UAW, talking about the auto industry and the troubles they're having and the demands they have to fix those things, wouldn't you say that the problems of inflation and the problems they're bringing up have been brought upon by the very government themselves on everybody, not just the working class or United Auto Workers? This is a problem that's on everybody, and this corruption is like to a new level.
Well, I think it was
and these people are exacerbating that. Would you say that? Would you say that?
I think what caused the inflation were a combination of things. I think Biden stopping the pipeline and gas prices going up caused store food to go up because the truckers had to make more money. And I think outsourcing of American jobs killed the auto industry. So it was a combination of things. I wouldn't blame the union. I would blame the government only in the sense that they allowed for this outsourcing to happen, and it continues. GM moved to Mexico, and then I understand they went from Mexico to China. So, I guess they thought it was better, and it was even cheaper in China than Mexico. But none of this bodes well for white America unless Trump wins.
But what do you do? I'm an ignorant person. I'm a layman, okay, and I hear you say that. What do you do in that situation? Do you use the power of the government and force the factories here, or do you make it a better place in America to have a factory than China?
No, what you do is you charge high tariffs. For example, you outsource automobiles to China. Okay, they make them over there. They got to ship them over here to sell, and Trump's aware of this. You hit them with high tariffs, and that's a tax basically on imports. And you give that money back to the workers who are displaced. And that's my solution to outsourcing.
No, I get that. That's like a trade strategy, and it's a protective trade strategy. I understand that, and I'm not against that, but I can't help but notice. Well, there's a reason why GM and all that moved away from America. It's hard to open up businesses, regulatory tape on everything, the taxes. These people want to make it hard.
Talking about the U.S.
Yeah,
but they're already here.
Ooh,
they're already here. GM was already here.
Oh, I thought you said they moved to China or whatever, but. Anyways,
well,
whoever's moving out, whoever's being out, wherever they're going, and whatever company's outsourcing it, I mean, I can't but think, isn't there something we're doing wrong here?
No, it's the owners. What can I call the corporate people want higher profits, so they go to China where they can pay the workers, whatever $10 a day or whatever they pay them. Compared to what our workers make.
Right. There's that struggle. Right.
It's greed. And the American worker suffers for it.
Globalism.
And it got really bad under Clinton and Bush. But when Trump came in, he hit China with tariffs. And even this communist Biden never did away with those tariffs that Trump put on China, because of all the billions of dollars we're raking in from that. There's a lot of reasons to vote for Trump. But even,
I hear you, Mark.
On that issue, Trump brought billions in, and even Biden wouldn't stop it. Anyway, Nick, before you let me go, can I make one recommendation?
Is it like media you're trying to like a book or something like that, just email me about those things.
No. Oh, I am going to send a book to you guys, but that's not
send
it. Gosh, I recommend that you go back to noon.
Oh yeah. Hey, I appreciate the comment. No. I appreciate the comment. Go ahead.
Well, you think you'll do it?
Well, tell me why you think so. I've had quite a bit of people actually reach out to me.
Yeah, because it's easier for me to call you then than now. Like, either I'm getting ready to eat or I'm going to watch something. And, but I don't mind. I'll still watch and
Thank you,
call. Sir. But it would be, I like it better at noon.
Fair enough, man. I'm taking in the comment.
Thank you, sir. You have a good night.
Call me again, Mark. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah. Cool stuff. What else do I want to say about this? Educational? No? Don't you guys think? Educational? I know I had an earlier super chat who was saying something like that. Oh, yeah. In fact, I got a super chat from Pincho. Pincho got him. Says, Nit, you should have kept your 12 o'clock. You had a good thing going. Is this your scheme so you can become a gamer? And he spells it funny. Beta. Just kidding, brother. Love your show. Love Bond. Keep it up. Thank you, Pincho. I appreciate the comment, actually. Yeah, what I've done is I've split my audience, really. I've split them. People like the nighttime. There's people who like the 12. And if I were to, if you stick to one thing and you make that thing grow, it grows. If you split yourself and you try and make two things grow, they both grow kind of weird. I mean, it's a little bit of a lesson, maybe. Look, I experiment, guys. I had other things to do too with Bond, and I needed to work things out. But hey, I'm not going anywhere. Okay, we'll figure this out, folks. Okay, we'll figure this out. I love the nighttime stuff too. We'll talk about it. Taking in the comments though, I do appreciate it. Mark Pincho, I got another one from Carver. Says Nick is right. Bond should work on Saturdays. Hey man, sometimes we do. Sometimes we're working hard on the plantation. Although some people are not calling that work. They're saying I'm just being a gamer. They figured out my scheme. Hey, we'll figure it out. I love doing this. This time, that time. I'm loving being back in this chair, to be quite honest. I'm liking being in the chair. Hey, rocking and rolling up Bond. I'm not going anywhere. We'll figure it out. I do appreciate the support, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Whenever the elusive anchor baby, like some say. Let's see here. Rumble, thank you, supporters. The Hate Report, appreciate that, sir. Top contributors and all that. Let me get to this before I get to this last call. Switching it up a little bit. I came across this little image. Okay, here we're going to the Gentile News Network for this one, folks, and the Gentile News Network shared this. The Gentile News Network. Check it out. They shared this bit of news, breaking news from the Gentile News Network on X.com. And I came across this. The GNN. They post excerpt from a book written by Jewish author Marcus Ravage. And they post this little excerpt here. And I'll read it. It reads, "You have not begun to appreciate the real depth of our guilt. We are intruders. We are disturbers. We are subverters. We have taken your natural world, your ideals, your destiny, and played havoc with them." Wow, these people are powerful. "We have been at the bottom of not merely of the latest great war, but of nearly all your wars, not only of the Russian, but of every other major revolution in your history. We have brought discord and confusion and frustration into your personal and public life, and we are still doing it. No one can tell how long we shall go on doing it." Thunder, lightning. The Gentile News Network. And apparently this is supposed to be from a real author, Marcus Ravage. I did a cursory search, and I believe it really might be from something that this person wrote. And it's like, whoa, bro, did this guy just, whoa, there's the proof, huh? Huh? What the? Whoa, bro. It's like, did this guy's revealing? I heard about this stuff, but it's true, huh? The Jews hate they're subverters. I heard they were subverters, but here's a Jewish guy in a book, no less. He's saying it. It's written down. And you're trying to tell me it's a lie? They don't control everything? This guy's literally the disturber, the subverter. They literally took our ideals and our whole destiny and played havoc with them. It's right there in writing. It's right there in writing. This is the proof. Imagine for a moment. Truly, sit back for a moment. Imagine this for a moment. And imagine someone reading this and getting mad. Imagine for a moment sitting down and you come across this post, or maybe you find the book and you read this and you get mad. You would have to be the biggest fool in the world. Truly. You'd have to be the biggest fool in the world. Just imagine for a moment that you go to some random area in your town, in your city, and you see some graffiti scrawled on some business, and it reads, "Yeah, whites, we do hate you, and we're conspiring against you. Sincerely, blacks." And you read that, and then you went off and got mad and reacted to those words and make conclusions from those words, other than this person who wrote this, whatever. Imagine for a moment you read this graffiti and you're like, wow, the blacks, they're against us. Look, it's in writing. And then you went around and telling people about this graffiti. And you told them, see, there's a conspiracy against us. And then someone asks you, well, oh, no way. Give me the details. How'd you learn about this? Well, I read this. I saw this graffiti somewhere. Like, this is some Jewish liar. If this is a true book, Marcus Ravage is some Jewish liar, okay? And you're getting mad at some Jew lying. This is trolling of the highest order. This is trolling of the highest order. You got to understand. Well, Nick, how do you know he's lying? He's literally saying lies. He's saying, we are intruders, disturbers, and subverters of your ideals and natural world. They're not God. Who's my world? What are you talking about? My ideals? My destiny? You have done no such thing. Pretty much, there's really only one culprit that's doing that to my destiny, my world, and that's really, in a sense, I'm saying this with an asterisk, myself, so to speak, the influence, whatever. And whatever I believe, and whatever thrill I get. We are disturbers, subverters. We've taken your these people have taken my natural world, ideals, and destiny and played havoc with them? Who gave them that power? Tell me, who gave them that power? You know, when I think about that, yeah. You know who takes control of my natural world, my ideals and destiny, and plays havoc with them? Literally anybody I give that power to. Literally anybody or anything I give that power to. It could be anything or anyone, whoever I give that power to. This is trolling of the highest order. And the Gentile News Network is like, look, this is proof that the Jews control everything. You know, there are facts. I'm sure there are facts that you could talk about. I'm not discounting that. I'm not saying, now this is why you should just let unchristian people or people who, in plain English, reveal that they don't care about America, whatever, that you should just let them run. No, I'm being quite clear. I'm not talking about facts. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about trolling of the highest order and how you're falling for it. That's the spirit behind whoever wrote this. They're like, how do I get the goat of these Gentiles or whatever? Oh, I know. I'll tell them I control everything. Because you got to understand, whoever says that is a liar. You don't have to look into it. There's no books you got to read, and you got to know the history. If someone tells you they control your life, they're lying to you. And they're trying to get a rise out of you. And once they do get a rise out of you, they essentially do control your life. And you gave them that control. This is trolling of the high. Evil people getting your goat to spread more evil. And you fell for it. They say that we've taken your natural world, subverted it. We started every war. Says who? Okay, but maybe there's facts on who starts wars. But look, your life, your ideals, your natural world subverted it all, says who? And you're giving them that? See, they do control everything. It's because you're a giant fool. You following what I'm saying here? Just read the whole thing from Marcus Eli Ravage and decide yourself if he's lying. Tell me where I'm wrong, chat. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't need to read everything from Marcus Ravage. I know he's lying. He's not God. He cannot subvert my world if I don't let him. He cannot take my ideals and my destiny. He just can't. He's not God. That is so simple and clear. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. 888-775-3773. Let's get to one more caller here. Your name and where you calling from. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, Nick?
How you doing, sir? Hi, man, out of Minnesota. Appreciate it.
Yeah. How's the sound? How's the audio?
Coming in clear. Thank you for that.
I don't know if you remember, but I had a lot of hissing and stuff.
I do. Wi-Fi. And I think that was during when you called me on my other listen line, on my other caller thing. And I noticed that your phone never made that sound when you called Jesse's number, which is this one. So maybe it's just that.
Yeah, I think it was because I was at home when I call you because you're at late night now.
Ah, I understand.
And,
no, you're clear. You're
when
good.
I'm calling Jesse, I'm not at home, so
understood.
That might be the reason. Hey, let me get in on this union.
Stuff. Educate me a little.
Yeah. See, I'm about 30, my mid-30s, and this is the first time I've ever worked for a union, and it is pretty sweet. But I do see your point about the bad unions, the white collar unions. You know what I'm saying? These people, they pushing pencils. The teachers union, that's a white collar union. The nurses union, those are pink collar unions. But they're all about they're not good workers. Like the blue collar workers, like me, I do a lot of good work.
Yeah, my caller. You said like you and me.
No, I said like me.
Oh, I thought you said like you and me.
Well, hold on one second.
I was a blue collar
worker. HVAC guys, like the electricians, like those guys. But I believe when you say that the unions are kind of bad. I remember one episode where Jesse had said that he was a part of a hospital union.
Yep.
That's another one that's bad. They're not really honest people.
What makes you say that?
Because they're not blue-collar workers, salt-of-the-earth kind of people. They're more like, look at me, I'm a fancy-dancy person. They sit in their offices and nurses people, they're in air-conditioned spaces, they're not outside.
Okay.
The sun rays,
I honestly have no comment, man. But I'm following what you're saying.
Okay, so white collar.
Are you saying the blue collar unions are more honest, or are you saying the blue collar workers in general are more honest?
Blue collar workers are more honest, and they make up the blue collar unions.
I understand.
But those white collar workers, like over in California, with those white collar unions, with them teacher unions, it's a big mess, buddy. But I think because you see those more often, you don't see, us guys as often and how great we are. You just see the mess and you think we're all the same, but that's not true.
I don't know. I'm hearing your comment. I don't want to deny it. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I feel like I see a whole bunch of hate, blame, and victimhood everywhere. You might be right.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, you brought up Jesse's story about working in the union, the hospitals. The most amazing part of that story is how Jesse was literally trained to watch out for the angry, discontented workers and was trained to collect them and bring them into the union and inculcate them with the mentality of hate, blame, and victimhood so that they could keep the whole thing going.
Yeah, I never heard the whole story. I just remember hearing that part of it.
Yep.
Is that in his book or something?
It's something I heard him talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so you seen the RNC, right? Where they had their union guy come in, right? He was part of the Teamsters
The
union.
Teamsters union,
Yeah.
yep.
That was a man, you know. He spoke for the people, the workers. He said, "Hey, I don't care which one of you guys gets in, as long as you protect these workers or whatever." But one other thing that he said was that even if he gets ousted as president of the Teamster Union, he still has his CDL license, his CDL certification, and he'll just hop back in a truck and, because his job's always there.
That's what he said, huh? The Teamster guy?
Yeah, but this UAW guy, I heard it too. What a piece of what he started talking about the LGBT. What does that have to do with workers? Nothing. That guy is a dirty, rotten sack of potatoes, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I may not even describe it that well, but I was really trying to just point that out, how I see these people who it's like, what makes you say you guys should be protected from inflation and protected in all these ways? Like, what makes you so special? And then I'm hearing you tell me this guy for the Teamsters is like, hey, like, I don't, if I don't get all this, I'm still going to work. I still got to fend for myself. I got my CDL. I'll just get right back to work. It's a different kind of person.
It is. And so, you know, I didn't start out at a union job. No. See, I worked at a grocery store, and, you know, I first started delivering newspapers when I was a young man, you know, 12 years old. So you build up to it, you know. And not everybody gets a union job because they ain't, you know what I'm saying? They ain't.
Now, what do you think about this?
You know,
they ain't what?
They ain't hard working enough.
I gotcha.
You got to be a hard worker, and not.
I'm glad you said that.
The white collar ones, the white collar ones, the government jobs, those are so bogus, man. I wish those unions should be busted up.
But not the blue collar.
The unions should only be for the blue collar workers.
No comment. I don't know. Don't we need all the collar workers to make the world go round? But look, I'll say this. What do you think about what was I trying to tell you? What did I want to ask? It was I forgot.
Yeah, so the blue collar workers, you know, the people, the steel drivers, the steel builders, that stuff's hard. You could lose an arm, especially back in the day. The truck drivers, they can crash, and there's a lot of danger. In the white collar job, you click clacking on the computer keys, and the teachers pointing at the chalkboard. What danger is there?
Interworking class fight. They're just trying to divide us against each other. The collar workers, the different color collars.
So,
there is no color collars. We're all the same collar.
But you know, the union over here, we're looking for a guy if you're interested.
We're interested. You're like, oh, you offer me a union job? Nah, all of a sudden I'm a union guy. Let's go.
We work out in the sun, in the rain, and in the snow and the sleet. And there's no air conditioning where we are. Well, how does that sound to you?
Hey, cushy, man. I'm ready to work.
You earn it. You got to earn
it. Yeah. No, but I'm glad you're talking about
Christian.
work, because I saw person after person at this DNC going like, and we need this, and we need that, and we need this. I'm like, wow, not a single person. Nobody wants to work? Can we talk about that? Yeah. It's like, can we, maybe you get, what can we get? Well, are the workers going to work? Hey, Jaime, thanks for your call, man. Anything else you want to say before I move the wheels?
No, that's it. Good to talk to you.
Call me again, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. What else about this? Thank you, Modern Gentleman. Appreciate the super chat. Says, nice to see you back in the chair, Nick. You're more on point in the studio. Thank you. I also preferred you at noon. Amazing shows either way. Appreciate the comments. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's not what your country can do for you, huh? Let's see here. Let's see here. What else? I think we can move on. I think we can. What else can we do here? What else can we do? I guess I could do this. Hard-hitting news on the American Anchor Baby. But really not news at all, actually. It's just more of a question I guess I'm posing to the chat. And this is especially for some of my OGs in the chat. You know, you guys were around in the 90s and like rap culture and Snoop Dogg and different hairstyles. I want someone to explain this to me, you know. Is this hard, chat? Would you say this is hard? Now, you may not understand what you're looking at yet. And some of you don't ever get any taste of this culture unless you're watching my show. For some reason, the Anchor Baby just knows a lot about these people. Yeah, I don't know. Some say the Anchor Baby's black. Maybe you don't understand who Champagne Poppy is. And what you're looking at is the Instagram story of the Champagne Poppy. Now, who's the Champagne Poppy? You may know him better, known as Drake, the bluish man, half black, half Jewish, right? The bluish man, the bluish Canada man, hailing from North York, Richmondville, North Richmond, or whatever. I forget what it's called now. You know, Richmond. Drake, the rap, hip-hop, pop sensation. Been on top of the game for years. The lover boy who shaved a heart in his head. Is this hard? Like, you know, tough? He shares a silhouette of himself. This is Drake. And the silhouette here is just, look how tight that silhouette is. It's like sharp curve. It's like a sharp line and then boom. It's like there's no blending. It's like I took two braids. It's like I took these two little ball braids and just like put glue on them and just put them on the end of someone's head. Now, I need someone to explain this to me. This is not... Drake isn't the only one doing this ball braid stuff. This is kind of a callback to a style, no? Maybe a style in the past a little bit. Right? I'm thinking Snoop Dogg a little. Like people used to wear these ball braids, right? And these were like rappers. And not just Snoop Dogg, but Snoop Dogg is like the one that I'm thinking of. The person who shared this image made an edit of this image. Drake in blackface. Yuck it up, folks. Yeah, you want to laugh at the GOAT? Go ahead. No, I'm kidding. I don't care about Drake. But, yeah, that's funny. Just had to show you that. But I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at the style. Look at this. What is the style? Like, help me understand this here. We need to go back to Snoop Dogg and Snoop Dogg's ball braids. Like maybe there's something I don't get. Like if you ask me, I look at some of these photos and I'm like, you know what? Snoop's pretty creative. And at a time, look at this. Like, it's pretty creative. Whatever you want to say, it's creative. It maybe even was like, I don't know, is it like challenging for the era? Like, it's interesting, sure. During the time. But here we are, 2024, looking at Drake's ball braids, causing the Anchor Baby and all of us to Google Snoop's braids and other rappers from then. And I'm looking at this image like, Snoop looks like a little girl I used to go to school with. And I guess maybe this is like kind of an old thing. This is like an old notion. You know, there was a famous person who once said, a lot of rappers are undercover, as they say. Undercover. But he looks like a little girl I used to go to school with. Tell me, like, what is the, like, what's the, like, I def had those braids, LOL. Did we really think, was this thought through? I just can't help but bring this blast from the past up after seeing the Champagne Poppy, Drake, with his ball braids. Like, there's something about Snoop, like, kind of rocking it. Like, I know Snoop Dogg is more than just, like, Snoop Dogg, you got to understand, Snoop Dogg, Snoop 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒔 is more. He's more than a Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr. Snoop 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒔 is like a character. It's like a mascot. I heard someone describe him like that. He's not even Calvin Cortazar Broadus. He's Snoop 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒔. It's like a character. It's like a GTA character. It's just, you can't even get mad at this. But I'm sure he spawned, and it wasn't just him, a whole bunch of braid stuff. And then you look at the box braids of the rappers today. Are rappers even still doing that? You know, they get these box braids and the box braids. And I'm like, hold up. Okay, wait. Pop Smoke kind of hard, though. Pop Smoke was kind of hard, though. But even then, Pop Smoke kind of hard, though. But wait. Even then, though, what is, like, was this not thought through? It's just, I don't even understand. I'm not even saying anything. I'm just presenting you a blast from the past. And what the Champagne Poppy has made me think about, and how you just can take these two little braids and put them on someone's head, and it's like, and I don't know, it's just, there's something not thought through. Because these are the tough gangsters, right? The rappers. Maybe that is tough. Maybe that's the tough part. Like, look, I'll wear ball braids. I don't care what you think. I'll kill you. Yeah, I got ball braids. I'll shoot you. And there's something tough about that, right? Also, it was the 90s too, right? We got to factor that in. The aughts, not just the 90s. Let's be real. The aughts, which was an interesting time for fashion. A truly interesting time for fashion. So we got to factor that in. But how do you explain the Champagne Poppy doing that today? I get it. He's like an artistic guy. He loves like Sade, and he loves like old school stuff. And look at me bringing stuff back from the past. I'm such an eclectic person, but I don't know. It's just not hard. And maybe it was back then, but now it's definitely not. Now you look like a little girl with braids. I don't know, folks. I'm just rambling, but hey, it's just a little funny to me. And it's just, I feel like it's one of those things that maybe no one was this question. Now I'm going to you, chat. Was this questioned in the 90s and aughts with Snoop Dogg and others? Were people going around like, has nobody seen the little girl braids on the rappers? Or did this just like go by and nobody thought none of it? They were just like, oh yeah, dude, I love Snoop Dogg. And then it just went by, like nobody thought of it. And now here's the anchor baby Googling an image going like, did nobody see this? Or was that happening back then? I'd like to know. Were the people back then saying, well, now, anybody see these little girl braids on the rappers? No? That's all I'm wondering. It was like how people notice the dresses nowadays. Yeah, I'd like to know. Were people noticing back then? Or was it just, oh yeah, is this Snoop Dogg? Oh yeah, it's just a rapper. Okay. And then move on, then on to the next. Cat Williams got these thugs pictured all in bed together. I don't know anything about that. ODB had braids. Oh. Look, I'm also judging braids. Like I'm judging braids just so I can make a joke right now, okay? Maybe let me think. Who has like sick braids? Anybody have sick braids? I'm thinking old dirty bastard. Old dirty. Look, it kind of fits his whole shtick. You know, he's like great, like Am I homeless? Maybe, but I rap good. It kind of fits the shtick. I mean, it kind of hits. ODB. You thought you wasn't going to see me? I'm the Osiris of this mother. Let's take it back to 79. Oh, I forget what he says. Something about the moonshine. My knickers and knickerettes. What the? All right, y'all. That's it from the Anchor Baby. I do appreciate everybody supporting me. The calls, the super chats, and otherwise. But that's it from the Anchor Baby. You'll see me tomorrow. 4 o'clock. Look, I'm loving the chair. I might be back in the chair. I do appreciate all the commentary, though. We'll talk about it, okay, folks? What a mess. The Anchor Baby's fickle. He's got to overcome. But I'm not going anywhere. We're looking forward to you going back to noon. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out. I'll see y'all again, though. I got more American Anchor Baby for you. And what else here? Manhood Hour tomorrow. The Hake Report as we do. Joel Friday as always. And Anchor Baby eventually. All right, y'all. Peace. Take care. Love you guys. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Oh, wait. Bye.